The Great American Podcast, where everything American matters, featuring AJT, Average Joe Troy, Noda, not a guitar player, Nona P Cooter, and Jeff.
What's up, America? This is AJT with the Great American Podcast, where everything American matters. I'm joined today by not a guitar player, my buddy Jeff, Nona P Cooter, and our amazing mod, John. John, thank you, brother. You're amazing. I thank you for joining us. We are going to be talking about how we got together, and just how this whole thing came together. A year ago, you've been following me. You know, a year ago, I put a couple episodes out. I had a vision to do a podcast like no other. I wanted to do a podcast that talked about the everyday American stuff going on, not the stuff you see on CNN or any of those other channels. We want to get involved with veterans, at parades, fairs, anything that has to do with America that shows the beauty of America, because this show is not going to be about us. This show is about you guys. You guys are our family. You guys are why we're doing what we're doing. And you're the ones we're going to be getting involved and showing people what America really is all about. A year ago, I wanted to do a lot of stuff. I tried a couple times. You guys remember, and it just didn't work out. Obviously, timing is everything. After a couple tries, third time, I recently got contacted by Not a Guitar Player on Twitter, and I got back to him, and I found out that he had a lot of the same ideas I do as far as helping the vets and doing a podcast. And I really enjoyed talking to him online. So I figured, hey, let's get together and just talk. A couple days later, I called him, and you want to talk about fate? I found out within 5 minutes we were actually cousins. That's pretty cool. So we got along. We had the same ideas, the same passion for America. We love America, and we have the same ideas. And he's amazing. We have four amazing people, patriots on the show that is going to make this podcast absolutely phenomenal. I'm not going to talk much about me because you guys have been following me. You already know where I came from, what I've gone through. But I want you to I want you to hear from my family here, because they've got some amazing stories. They've been through some stuff, and they are gonna be what makes this show amazing. So I want to introduce you to my cousin, Steven, not a guitar player. What's up, brother?
Hey, what's going on, brother? How are you? Hey,
I'm
family. Hey,
doing great,
America.
man.
Hey, America. How are you? So, yeah, my story goes way back. Actually, I'm gonna go way back to September, October of this year. So September, October of this year, there were some amazing things that were going on in my life. Obviously, in the country's life, it's been going a little bit awkward with. We all know what's going on out there. We all know that Joe Biden isn't really the president. But anyways, we'll get into that a little bit later on. And so through a couple of months of some divine things happening to me with saving ducks, and one day I'll tell the entire story. A couple car accidents happened in front of me. I ended up meeting Jeff online, and the first meeting with Jeff was a little bit rocky. I'm a video guy. I do meme vids. That's what I do. You can go on and check them out, but I do meme videos instead of just normal memes. And I can usually put one together in a couple of minutes. And Jeff put a song out, and my way to interact with him was to put this meme vid together with Beavis and Butthead in the background of the song. And the song meant a lot to him. And apparently, from my understanding, it seemed like it offended him. And we kind of had a rocky start to our introduction to each other. That was the end of December. So 10 days later, well, Jeff, I'll have you tell the story after you and I met. 10 days later, Jeff ends up disappearing and no longer is on True Social. And we ended up exchanging numbers, and he's not answering my phone call. And so this stuff happened for 10 days. He just disappears. I'll let you guys I'll let Jeff talk about where he went. But in the meantime, every single day it felt like I lost a brother. It literally felt like a piece of me was gone. Not
Well,
sure.
we actually talked on the phone before that a little bit too, in between the rocky beginning and when I disappeared. If you remember, that's how I remember. That's how I put you in my phone, by the way. But go ahead.
Yeah, we did actually. I remember you put me in as Steve Brother Watchman,
Yep.
because we had that connection
Uh,
together. You know, you and I, yeah, we had a rocky start, but then when we ended up talking to each other, come to find out that you found out what my heart was, and it wasn't anything trying to make fun of you. It was just a matter
Right.
of
Right.
trying to make a connection with you. And
Right.
because of that, you felt like a brother to me. You literally felt like a piece of my heart. It was crazy. Um, I have no idea what happened. You know, for 10 days, we were putting memes back and forth to each other, kind of communicating with each other, telling each other's life stories and whatnot. And then you went missing. You want to tell a little bit about how you went missing?
Well, I'll get back to the rocky beginning. It's amazing how you say we had a rocky beginning, and Rocky plays a big part in our mending things and actually talking on the phone for the first time, and how we really solidified, okay, there's something very divine, a lot of divine intervention right here that happened between me and you. To go back a little in time, like you mentioned, I wasn't in the right frame of mind. I was not in the right frame of or peace of mind. I was not in a good place. My drinking was getting out of hand. And I know a lot of the family on True Social and Rumble were starting to really see that. Actually, out of all of us, I actually met Nona first, but I'll get into that and then we'll segue into her story. But yeah, the song is from Beartooth. It's called "In the In Between," and at the time, look, America. I was just not in the right frame of mind. I really wasn't. So what happened was, a lot of times, music is my outlet. Just like with AJT, I've been around him for a few weeks now in person, and music is his passion when he's not, in a right frame of mind or just wants to just be himself. Great singer, by the way. Especially in the shower, you should hear him. Very passionate.
Outside the door, though.
You don't need to hear about y'all's shower habits. This is a don't ask, don't tell kind of place.
I think America might want to know. But anyway, so the song is anti-suicide. It helps people. It helps talk you down from that ledge. So it meant a lot to me, and Noda was just trying to do something nice for me. And when you're drinking, you're not thinking straight. So I took it totally out of context in the wrong way. And he was like, "Look, I meant nothing by we already pretty much had our True Social and Rumble family already solidified. We're a very tight knit group, but that does not mean that we never have room for anybody else, because we always keep the door open for everybody and we make everybody feel welcome." Yes. Noda just at the time was the new guy, the new kid on the block, and maybe you had to go through a little ribbing at first, whatever, because that's how we test people sometimes. So, he knew.
With a name like Nona P. Cooter, I do not have a sense of humor.
Trust me, folks, she has a sense of humor. Do not let her fool you. Anyway, so he knew that I was struggling. This is where this comes into play, the Rocky. One day, this man does not know me, but he knows addiction when he sees it, and he knew I was struggling. He put together this video for me. So, John, can you please play it?
That's cool.
So that's how the Rocky and the song tie together. So we exchange numbers and we get to talking on the phone. And I said that at the time, well, of course, at the time, but at the time I was just like, this man does not even know me. And he put this together for me. Why? Why? You don't even know me. We had a rocky start. So we were talking on the phone and he told me flat out, he goes, Father just led me to you. He goes, there's just some connection with you. Just like I felt it too after that. I was like, you know what? You're right. That's why I put him in my phone as Brother Watchman, Stephen Brother Watchman. There's also another family member that me and him have that connection too. When I was on the phone with him, I said, you feel it, don't you? He goes, yeah, I do. We'll talk about him at another time. So when Stephen says I disappeared for 10 days, I drank myself homeless. Not something I'm very proud of, but so the whole time I'm on the street. Now, I've been homeless before, but I never slept on the streets. This time I'm on the streets. And it's not fun being on the streets in Portland because I finally got a chance to see what fentanyl does to these young kids and older people too, but mostly the young kids. I saw firsthand. So that's where some of this is geared around homeless veterans. But I wasn't a homeless veteran, but I was homeless, so I have that aspect to it. To where Nona is retired military, so she's the military end of it. So the whole time I'm drinking, I'm looking up at God saying, this is my life now. This is my life now. The next sentence, I'm saying to myself, God, if you get me out of this, I promise I will quit drinking. I learned a long time ago, when you give up on yourself, because I gave up on myself before, and I especially gave up on myself this time around in homelessness. When you give up on yourself and God doesn't, you were meant for something. And I kept saying to myself, you did not bring me this far, God, to drop me off now. I know that. So we'll get into a little bit more of that later, but that Monday, I decided I'm done. I'm done with this. I almost threw my phone away. I'm like, it's just a fucking paperweight at that point. And I said, no, I have money. I'm going to get a phone charger. I'm getting out of this mess. That Tuesday is when I decided I'm done. I got on Truth and let everybody know, hey, I'm okay. One of the family members was like, Jeff, is that you? If that's you, let us know it's you. And I sent out a little GIF. They knew it was me right away. Made a couple phone calls, Noda being one of them. And I said, look, here's my plan. I'm going to go to the Salvation Army. It's a 6 to 9 month program. I said, if I do that, my phone's going to be shut off. I am not going to have communication with anybody for 6 to 9 months. He said, no, this is not happening. He made it a point to help me get a motel room. He dropped everything he was doing to book a couple flights for me and himself. This man flew to Portland, made sure I got on that plane, got me to Atlanta. There's some bumps in the road, but again, we'll get into that later. So that's the road that me and Stephen took. Then, of course, I met AJT, who is we're going to be traveling partners in all this.
Yep.
But again, like I said in the beginning, I knew Nona first. Nona, has her own rumbles. She does her own videos. And Stephen, when we tried doing this with another Patriot, it's just timing. It just wasn't the right time. But there was three of us, and Noda came to me and he goes, you know, I think we need a fourth. And I said, well, maybe if we have a fourth, we need a female perspective. And he goes, do you have anybody in mind? And Nona was one of the first ones that I thought of. I said, there's this woman who does great videos. People already know her, and it's Nona P. Cooter. And I said, let me give her a shout and see if she's on board. I didn't know what she'd say about it because, you know, we know each other. And we have at the time, we had a mutual friend who's like a big brother to me. We're all family anyway. So, you know, she put a comment in one of his videos and mentioned my name along with Scotty Martin, the Fallen One, and on Dark Knight's, you know, video. And I said, wow, she just put me in with the big dogs. And I was like, this woman doesn't even really know me. So that's how me and Nona got started knowing each other. So on that note, I am going to pass it to Nona P. Cooter.
It's Vicky reports for duty. No, I could not believe when you asked me to do this. I've been making my Nona P. Cooter videos. That's my channel. You can go over there and check that out. Or if you don't want to type in Nona P. Cooter, you could type in An Old Gal's Observations. Same thing, same channel, same person. I've been doing them since shortly after the Pretender came to the throne. And, or no, let me rephrase that. I've been doing the videos since our Pretender was installed in office. There's now a new Pretender over there on the throne, but that's different. So I've been doing them for a while. I've been watching Scotty Martin videos and Dark Knight videos. And I was cruising down the road and I've got XM. I'm blessed to have XM. Love it. Love the old classic rock. Liar came on, Three Dog Night. Anybody that's a Three Dog Night fan? Liar came on. And I have not always been a deeply religious person or deeply faithful person throughout my life. But at that moment, I know that God gave me that video. The Liar video was the very first one that I made for video memes. And not a guitar player, I am so jealous that you can put these together in just a few minutes. I'm talking hours, days it takes. But that was my first video, and after that, I was hooked. A few videos later, I used a picture of downtown Indianapolis. It's very distinctive. We have a beautiful downtown in Indianapolis. And somebody commented in my comments and let me know in a roundabout way that they recognized that picture. So from that, we started talking and figured out that we both lived in the same region at one point in time or another. And although our paths never crossed paths physically, they did in chronological time in the same region. And that person was I'm not going to say who that person was now that I think about it. So that person helped me build my channel a little bit, and it happened to be at the time that the Allstate commercial that was running the tens of views commercial. Do you know what I'm talking about? The Allstate Mayhem, and he's standing there on the corner, and he's making his video.
Tens.
I'm going to make tens of views. So that was the big joke in the house. My husband was like, yeah, you got tens of views. And I finally got out of that, and I finally got into the hundreds, and that was pretty exciting. I had one hit 6,000 in one night.
Wow.
I like to not sleep that night. That was crazy, but I've never had another one hit big like that since. I'm now in the thousands of views. I'm not in the hundreds of thousands of views like Scotty Martin. I'm not in the tens of thousands of views like Dark Knight or Choo Choo, the the fallen one, he gets big numbers. I'm nowhere near any of that big. I'm perfectly happy with the little bit that I've got. I love knowing that people find my sense of humor amusing, and enjoy the videos. And so when Jeff reached out to me about doing this, I was like, yeah, that sounds like something that would be up my alley, and we could have some fun with that. I've got some veteran friends here in town. I'm in Columbia now, South Carolina. I've got some veteran friends that have some veteran-owned businesses that I think would be fun to highlight and talk about those. And I want to highlight like veteran-owned businesses where Jeff and AJT end up in the country. And so that's how I came. That's how I came to be.
Well, we're
Thanks,
glad
Nona
you're
P.
here too. You're awesome.
I'm tickled pink.
Yeah, because Nona, if you remember, I asked when I first was talking to you, I was like, and I even said to you, you don't have to put your face out there, because I thought maybe you would say no, but you said, I put my face out there.
It's
Before, so.
well, it was out there. I think well, that's my face in the that's my beat up face in the second
Mhm.
video that I did.
Because
who did that? That song, I Hate Everything About You. Who was that?
Oh, Ugly Kid Joe?
Yeah.
Ugly Kid Joe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a great
Yeah.
song. Yeah. That's my
Yeah.
beat up face in that video.
So you mentioned Choo Choo also. She was one that that came to mind for me also, but Choo Choo at the time wasn't really active in our thread yet, so I didn't know her as well as I did you. But you were definitely not just by default, but just knowing that, hey, people know Nona, people love Nona. Not only that, hey, people are going to want to see Nona too, because you figure a lot of people watching this may not have saw your second video where you showed your face. They're going to go back now and do it though. I guarantee you that.
It's way down on the. It's one of those that was re-uploaded. It's like down on the third or fourth page now,
Mhm.
something like that. Those are the early ones. Those were fun videos. I love doing them.
Yeah. But
But they are.
just like one of your last one entitled Popcorn, the minute I heard the music, I'm like, that is modern day clown music.
You
That
know
is
that?
fucking
Yes.
perfect.
Oh,
That is perfect.
remember when that was on the radio?
Mm-hmm.
I was, yeah. Everybody thinks that's a clown song and stuff, and it is, but to my little, let's say little kid brain, that was just like high culture.
Mhm.
Right,
So
right.
that song to me still is high culture.
Yeah. So basically, this is how, me and AJT have come to meet, because, obviously because of Noda. And when me and Noda went to Oklahoma City, that's where we holed up so we can wait for AJT. Me and him really started talking personally on the phone, because it was all mostly group chat and text when I talked to him. And then, we started texting each other. So finally we started, talking to each other. And, we got into some views about certain things, which we're going to be doing
Yep.
AJ and Jay's takes, where I guarantee America, me and this man are not going to see eye to eye on a lot of things, but that's okay. That's not what this podcast is about. It's about different views.
It'll be a great conversation.
Yeah, AJT, what did I tell you? It's like certain things that I was trying to show you, because there's going to be a lot of conspiracy theories on this. I guarantee it. And that's fine, because what's the difference between a conspiracy theory and the truth? Time.
3 weeks.
That's all it takes. So
not very much anymore.
Not in my
Yeah.
No, everything's being proven on. Like,
yeah,
quick.
exactly. So me and him being on the road, traveling from Oklahoma City, and we made a pit stop in Alabama to, stop at the Deer Ninjas for the night, or as I call them, my ninja. Is that racist? Nah, who gives a fuck anymore? Everything's racist anyway. So, and then, right now we're making Florida our home base.
Yep.
when we're not on the road. But it was good practice for us to travel together to see how we're gonna be together. Of course, it's gonna be tough, as me and all of you can imagine. We're gonna be together pretty much 24/7, and we're gonna be doing the podcast together and living together. You know, but other than that, it's gonna be such a great experience because again, there's gonna be a lot of conspiracy theories. I guarantee it. But that's okay. We'll get into that another time.
Yeah, so let's go back to our story again, Jeff. There's a few things that you left out there that are kind of integral, I believe, to you and I. For instance, the day that you came back, do you remember what day that was?
It was the 17th.
January 17th, 117. So the day Jeff shows back up is 117. I was at work. I have a job that owns me, and been married to my wife now for 18 years. But on a dime, for some reason, I felt like I had to just drop everything. And the 17th is when you came back, and the 18th is when I had the plane tickets to come and get you. I dropped everything on a day's notice for a guy that I knew for 10 days to come and help make sure that you get to Atlanta and you're safe. Of course, my wife thought I was crazy and still does to this day think I'm crazy. She's still freaking out a little bit about everything. But once again, let's go back to the divine, how this is all divine. I believe that everything that we're doing right now is to wake America, is to not only wake you guys up in America, but also to bring us together. So what is the purpose of what we're doing? What's the purpose of our podcast? It's to bring awareness to all the greatness that our country has, right? Because everything that's going on in the media today, everything that's going on in schools and in local stuff, they're really, for lack of a better term, shitting on our country. I mean, you go to a school, you can't even say the Pledge of Allegiance anymore in the school. You can't pray anymore. If you wear a cross in most schools, you get kicked out. I mean, it's getting crazy right now. So the education system has really gone down the wrong way. And that a lot of that is manipulation. That's mind manipulation. That's what unfortunately the enemy does, is they manipulate the minds of our kids. And our podcast is not just going to be about the conspiracies, but it's going to be about America. It's going to be about waking America up to the truth, to local communities, to getting involved locally in your local elections. All of those things that we do, helping veterans are the key, because
100%.
My dad served 22 years in the Air Force, and I wholeheartedly believe the VA killed him. He passed away last year, and he couldn't get the help that he needed to get. And there's a lot of veterans that I talk to out there that are that way. There's a lot that are on the streets that are that way. So this podcast is not just about what's going on in America, or what's going on in the media and the news and what's going on in the big mainstream stuff, but the local communities. So I'm so excited to be with you guys on this journey that we're going to go through.
Yeah, because right now, fuck the media. We're the news now.
Yeah.
Amen.
Well, I want to say.
Good.
I was going to say, I just wanted to touch on what Stephen was saying. It's about showing the beauty of America, but a lot of people, they're not seeing our lakes. They're not seeing the communities, because we have so much culture in this country that people don't know about. They're focusing on, they want to go to Europe, they want to go here and here and see other things, but people are not paying attention to what's going on here. And they're not paying attention to what's going on around them news-wise as well, because like Steve said, they're being lied to. And like you just said, we're the news. It's our job to show those stories and to interview those people and to bring everybody together and bring America, bring the knowledge to America, so America sees what is really, really, really going on, because they're not going to be told the truth elsewhere. Go ahead, brother.
Right. Because what's the most in modern day warfare now? What is one of the most important things in modern day warfare? Information.
Yep.
Who is the backbone of the deep state's army? Whose legs do you,
the media?
If you want to take out the deep state's legs, who do you take out first?
The media.
Take out
Hollywood.
Yep. Yeah.
Who was
people who are portraying lies.
Besides, we know about the children, We're not going
Right.
to talk about that now. But that was first and foremost for Trump. But
Right.
what was one of his missions
Fake
in all
news.
this? To show
Yeah.
the people how the media has been weaponized against us.
And
The
how
Mockingbird, the
deep.
Mockingbird
Yeah.
media.
Right.
Yep. And
And
can I
how-
tell a couple? And can I tell an example of this? You know, what's the media basically pushing? White supremacy, white supremacy. Well, where's this white supremacy all the time? You know, it's what has George Soros said? George Soros, I'm being hyperbolic, but basically said, I fund black militant groups because black people are easy to manipulate.
Yeah.
Also, how do you manipulate
Jeff,
them?
let me interrupt you for a moment, and in the spirit of pure self promotion, in the third video back that I recently did, a big one using Rhapsody in Blue, there's a quote in there from Mr. Soros talking about how he hates the United States and all of the people in it, and he has made it his life's mission
Yep.
to destroy us.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just using an example for the media side of it. But no, you're right. He said
No,
it's his
I
life
wanted
mission.
people to know that he has said
Yeah.
that. He's not just given that impression or kind of leans that way. No, he has outright said it. I hate you.
Mhm. Yeah, because he said
Which
it's
is
his
why we
life's
have to
mission.
come together. Which is why
Yeah.
we have to come together, because the elites,
Exactly.
they manipulate us so easily. And the problem is with school and everything, it makes it, the schooling of our children are also manipulating our kids as well.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
as far as the media goes, how do they manipulate also? Through creative editing.
Mm.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like with all these victims of police brutality, they don't show the whole story.
Right.
Now, black people are getting this impression white people are the problem. White people are the problem. They're just trying to divide you, of course. Now, what I try to tell some of my black friends, remember, it's not too long ago, the media made the black community out to be the bad guys. Within what, over a little over a century, maybe? And here's one clip that you can go and find on YouTube. I didn't know we were going to be talking about this, but if anybody's heard of Opie and Anthony, when they had their talk show, they showed how the media creatively edit stuff out. There was a shooting in Chicago, and the one news anchor was interviewing why a 4-year-old was on the streets at the time. I have no idea. But he says, aren't you afraid of all these guns? He goes, no. He goes, why? He goes, because when I grow up, I'm going to have me a gun. They edit and they go to the scene of, oh, just tragic. Opie and Anthony show you the whole clip. When he goes, I'm going to have me a gun. The guy goes, well, why do you want to have a gun? He goes, because I'm going to be the police when I grow up. It's amazing how the media edits that out to make the little black kid look like he's the problem. Now,
like
all of a
he's gonna
sudden,
grow up a gangster.
right, it's all division. It's all information warfare.
You said it right there. It's all division. That's what they want. They want to divide us into different political, economic, social paths. So then that way we fight each other, because if we stay divided, then it's a lot easier to control us.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's funny. There's a small amount of people that control the large amount of the mass of people.
Yes. 100%.
Why is it? Because of everything that they do, like with what you said, with the media, with politics. At the end of the day, we all want the same thing. We all want to be loved. We all want to live a life of prosperity. And we all want to, truly, I would rather love others than hate others. And they don't want that for any of us.
And we all want the truth. And the truth is not being told. Also, Trump, and one of his biggest things was with the media, like you guys are saying, everything's just connected too. I mean, everything does connect. With the media, the deep state is in control. The deep state, he always said, you have no idea how deep the deep state really is and how dark it really is. And it is, it goes,
Yeah.
it goes
Yeah.
way, way, way deep. And media is
Right,
right with them. They're the
Because
propaganda. arm.
because who is the one that turned a lot of the American public and the world against Trump? It was the media, because he was
they were
the
told.
biggest threat to them. He was the
Yep.
biggest threat to them because he wasn't part of the establishment. I
Right.
don't know about y'all, but when he has these rallies, now I do rallies in quotes. We'll get into that another time. But when he curses, I absolutely love that shit.
Mhm.
I feel more connected to him. You know what
I
I
like
mean?
a person
I'm
who
sure
tells
y'all
it like
do.
it is. Oh yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
100%. Yeah, be honest with you, man. Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
with that, so guys, we really appreciate you joining us on this first episode. Obviously, it's just a little bit about us and who we are. The next one is going to be coming up here shortly, and it'll be about why we are patriots. But really, I do want to let everybody know the purpose of our podcast. The purpose is to unite the United States of America. Now, I know that it's going to be tough, especially with some of those out there that are completely brain dead, and I shouldn't use that word, but there are people that are NPCs, that are non-participating players, computers that really will never change. But for the most part, we all should want freedom to be able to speak what we want to speak, freedom to protect ourselves, freedom to be able to just communicate with each other and not be afraid to get yelled at, freedom to hang a flag, an American flag, outside of my house without somebody bashing me or coming by and ripping it off. And a lot of that, the division is caused by, which we'll get into this in later episodes, but it's caused by the media, the school systems, local politicians. And unfortunately, they're trying to manipulate our children. Look at all the transgenderism stuff that's coming out right now. All this stuff is all about division.
Did you guys see that? Somebody posted on Truth. It was CVS. They went in and all the adult toys. Yeah, the adult toys were right next to the children's toys. Condoms, lube, female products were right next to the children's toys. And
saving the children, that's the most important thing, saving our children.
That was Trump's number one mission, and there's a lot of other things on his plate that, again, America first for him, but it was mostly number one was about the children. Yes. And the rest is just all falling into place. It's when Nona said something about the installed, how did you word it?
Oh, our installed, shoot, I don't even remember now what I said.
Well, we know what you meant.
The pretender was installed in the White House.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And we'll get into those conspiracy theories about this.
That's not a conspiracy
Joe
theory.
Biden.
It's a fact. Trump won.
But
Biden cheated. He's a
100.
fraud.
I believe that 100%. 100%.
And the media is behind him, and those are weak. Those that believe that he is the true president are weak-minded, or they just don't want to. They just don't want to be.
They don't want to face the fact that that our elections have been stolen, that they have been rigged and stolen because it's been sold so much that it can't possibly happen.
There was a movie that I was watching on Turner Classic Movies today, and I took a screenshot of what it was, and it was from the 40s. It was from 1949. Let me see if I could find this movie real quick for you guys, and I would implore you to watch it. It was called Flamingo Road.
Oh, yeah, it's a good one.
I've heard of it.
Flamingo Road, and that's exactly what they were going over. They were talking about how there was a contractor that was buying politicians, and he ended up being able to buy the governor and the senators and everybody in the state. And that was in 1949, guys. So this has been going on for a lot longer than any of you guys out there can believe. Our elections have been rigged for so long to where we haven't actually elected a president since at least, well, Donald Trump was the last one that we elected, but before that, it's been many, many years. I mean, even JFK,
Well,
he came out and he did,
Kennedy, because we know that his old man bought that seat for him.
yep,
Bought the
his
White
old,
House for him. We know that.
probably Lincoln, anything after Lincoln. I mean, truly,
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's when the Act of 1871 comes into play, and we'll talk about that at a later date. Because Lincoln was assassinated when 65,
Mm-hmm. April
1865.
April 65.
yep.
Yeah, so in the Act of 1871 is only 6 years later. So again, we'll talk about that. But yeah, that's how we got here. A lot of people don't know that we were living under two different constitutions, the organic one and the corporation one. Why does DC have 3 stars? It represents the free city states, and we'll get into that in later episodes.
Another day.
Back to you, Stephen.
So yeah, I mean, you know, this is going to be a great journey for all of us, and especially all of you out there watching this. We really appreciate you guys joining us with our first episode. I know it was a little rough. I know it was a little rough in the beginning, but that's okay. We appreciate you guys joining us, and just know that as we move on, we're gonna go pretty deep into some things, guys. Some things that you don't hear on the mainstream media. You don't hear out there with the minds that we have sitting behind these cameras right now. You'll be amazed at what you hear. But not only that, we're gonna get involved in local communities. We're gonna give survival tips. We're gonna talk about gardening tips, homeschooling, prepping, things that are important to us as a country to show us how to unite. Because at the end of the day, in order for us to win this war of the minds, this information war, we do have to be a more united country as opposed to a divided country.
Right.
And understanding that, hey, we've been taken over by communists. I mean, you know, for a long time. That's one of those things. I was also the first Secretary of Defense ever. You know, he was always in fear that our government was taken over by communists, and he ended up getting killed shortly after. But we'll talk about that at a later time as well.
People, even on our side, still to this day, don't understand how deep this goes. And we're going to talk about that. I will still, and y'all can disagree with me 100%, that's fine. I still say 100% what we are watching is a movie and a show. If this fake Biden isn't arrested for drug dealing because this motherfucker is dropping millions of red pills.
Yes, he is. So,
well, I'm going to take us out now. You got it. Well, again, I thank you guys for watching. Even though it was a little rough, it was our first one, but I think it went great. And we're going to be having some great conversations. And I just want to say, I love you. We love you. If you love this country and you love our Constitution, we got your 6. We are all in this together. God bless you, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye, America.
Bye, America. Thanks, John.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside